Hi YouTube. Yes, I know it has been a while since I made a video, but my life, personally, academically, spiritually, has been crazy. So I have not had the time, nor the effort, nor the energy to make a video. But hopefully I will, you know, be able to bring myself to, get back to making videos because I do enjoy them. But anyway, what I want to talk about right now is, romantic, basically mostly romantic relationships and men and women. Okay. On Facebook, they have the groups, and one of the groups that I'm in is called Relationship Talk. It was started by Mr. Lucario. He's a relationship guru, I guess you want to call him, or something like that. And he has a channel on YouTube, so check him out. Okay. In the group, there are men and women, and they come together and they discuss a variety of topics on relationships and sex, and everybody's giving a viewpoint. It's really cool and everything. So, here's what I've noticed. Um, One thing that I have noticed with, and I'm a woman, so as a woman wait, first, let me say this again. I'm a heterosexual woman. So as a heterosexual woman, I am concerned about men and what they think in terms of relationships and sex. I really don't care what other, like, it's interesting to hear what other women think and feel. And, I care to a certain extent, but I would be more interested in the men, obviously. So when I just talk about the men, it's not to beat up on them or to just focus on them. It's because, well, I'm a heterosexual woman. I'm not trying to date a woman. I'm trying to date a man. So, hope that makes sense. But anyway, the men in the group, um, I'm going to talk in a general sense because there are exceptions to the rule, but the exceptions are usually not that important. It is the rule that is important because most people don't get the exceptions. So anyway, generally the men in the group, and we're going to talk about sex first. As far as sex is concerned, they value sex a lot. Like, sex is really, really important to them. And it's funny because, both the men and I'm going to say women like me value sex and find sex important, but in different ways. And let me explain. Because I've heard some men say sex isn't that big a deal. Sex isn't important. Why women be tripping? But it is important. It's important to men. It's extremely important to men. And let me tell you why. Sex can be so important to a man that even if he has the best woman in the world, she cooks, she cleans, she doesn't nag. I mean, she looks great. She's great with his family and his friends. She takes care of him. She's a down chick. But if she is not having sex with him the right way, if she's not having sex with him enough, and if she's not having sex with him at the time he wants her to have sex with him, those men will go out and find a woman who will have sex with him. Some may even leave the other woman for the woman who will have sex with them. Some men, so basically they will cheat. They will risk a good relationship. They'll cheat and go find another woman who will have sex with them when they want, how they want, whatever. Or they'll just leave this woman altogether to go find a woman who, who will open up her legs and at any time, any place, anywhere, and any way they want her to. Why? Because sex is more important to them than those other things. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm wrong, but that's the vibe I get. And that's what I've seen, you know. And yes, what a good woman is relative. But from what I've heard in the men group, a woman who will cook, who will, in a sense, kind of take care of her man, won't nag him all the time, who keeps her stuff together and all that kind of stuff. And who has a nice attitude and is down, and just cool. That's what men like. But they will give up that chick if that chick is not giving up the sex quick enough, as much as they want her to, or whatever. There are a lot of men who I think will do that. That is how important the sex is to them. Sex is important. Sex is the most important aspect of the relationship, it seems to be to them. That's the vibe I get. I could be wrong, but that's the vibe that I get. And sex is more important than a woman. and that they may be in a relationship with. And let me tell you why I say that. The thing is, at the end of the day, a man who values sex above everything, as far as, goes to relationships, he has to value sex more than a woman. If a man will leave a woman who fulfills all of his other desires, except for the fact that she's not having sex with him enough, or not having sex with him on his timeline, for a woman who does not fulfill the majority of his qualities, sex is more important than that woman. If a man, risks his relationship with a woman that he claims is good and he's in love with for sex, obviously sex is more important than her. So men find sex very important, just not in the way that women like me do. When I say women like me, I mean women who probably won't have sex with you after the first date. Sorry. And who probably won't have sex with you after the third date either. And who probably won't have sex with you until you're at least in a relationship with them, and who may not even have sex with you until marriage, or at the very least engagement. We see sex as important, but not in the same way. I personally see sex as important as a way of people who have, who have already, established a foundation and already closed and have self-trust stuff. I see that as that another has a higher level, a way to, I don't know, solidify, another way to just increase the closeness. But it's something that I'm not going to share with just anybody. And it's not something that is mandatory, like I'm not going to put a man on a timeline for, he has to have sex with me by then or I'm going to leave him. Or he has to have sex with me in this way or I'm going to leave him. Or he has to have sex anytime I want or I'm going to leave him. No, that's crazy. You can work on things like that in a relationship, but it's not like my main priority. It's important, but it's not my main priority. It's in different ways. And men really do value sex. They value sex so much. And they just value it in a different way than women like me. They value it in the sense that it makes them feel good. It's something they really, really like. And they want as much of it as they possibly can get. They really, really value it. And some men will give up a relationship before they'll give up having sex. Because sex is that valuable. I mean, there are some men, if there's a woman who is fine and offering to have sex with them, they'll miss their job. They'll lie to their mama and say, I can't come over to eat because they're going to have sex. They'll lie to the girl who has been with them through thick and thin and stand her up to go have sex. They really, really value sex. I value sex, but in a different way. And I don't value sex more than I value, the people in my life, especially someone I'm in a relationship with. But that's just what I've noticed. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But that's the take I've gotten from that. And, the men basically tell the women in the group that 99.9% of the time, when a man approaches a woman or talks to a woman for the first time, it's because he finds her attractive and he wants to have sex with her. Not because he wants to get to know her as a person. Not even because he wants to see where it goes relationship-wise, but because he wants to have sex with her. Okay. And the thing is, if, you don't have sex with him, he's not going to get to know you. He's not going to care to get to know you, really. And the way they talk about it is almost as if sex is a requirement. Like, they have to have sex with a woman first before they can even get to know her. Like, it's like they say it in such a way as if they can't get to know a woman unless they've had sex with her first. And this is a question I have for the men who are listening to this video, if anybody's listening. And the question is this. Is it that you can't get to know a woman unless you have sex with her first? Or is it that you won't get to know a woman if you can't have sex with her first? One of them, you just simply can't. It's something that you're unable to do. It is something that you cannot do physically, biologically, mentally, physically. You are handicapped and you just cannot do unless you have sex with her first. But a won't, that's a refusal. That means that you are refusing to get to know a woman unless she has sex with you first. Now, there's no, me personally, I'm not a man, but I do believe that it's a won't, it's a refusal. I believe that men have the ability to get to know a woman without having to have sex with her as soon as possible, or without having sex with her first. I believe that that is possible. I know that that's possible. So it's not a can, it's a won't, is my opinion. But I'm asking men, is it that you can't get to know a woman unless you have sex with her first? Or is it that you refuse to get to know a woman unless you've had sex with her first. There's a big difference. But anyway, so yeah. And I've also noticed some things that, you know, they'll say men don't like to take women out on dates. Okay, stop asking women out on dates. And that's my solution. Why are you asking women out on dates if you hate doing it? And then, you know, Mr. Carl said men tell they do it because they hope to get laid. Okay. And then, like, why should we have to pay for dates? Why do we want to be wined and dined? Well, you know what? Let's look at it from this standpoint. A man invites a woman out to dinner. Let's listen. Basically, a man invited her out to dinner. She didn't invite him. He invited her. He asked her out. You know? So, the fact of the matter is, you ask someone else out. When you do that, common courtesy is that you will either, at the very least, pick them up or pay for them. That's in general. And you know what? Let's even take it out of romantic relationship context. I've invited people out with me, and you know what? I paid for them. Why? Because I asked them. That's why. They didn't ask me. I asked them. That is why I'm paying for them. It's just, you know, you want somebody to come out with you. You ask somebody to spend time with you. And you don't have to pay for them. But it's nice if you do. And that's why it's expected if you do. And the people, well, you all already know that, you know, men do it most of the time. That does not invalidate what's going on in the interaction. And that does not invalidate why the interaction goes the way it does. That's like saying, you know, let me think of a situation with women. That dang, it's hard because, you know, women, it's like saying, you know, I guess since men are usually the ones who always want sex, you know, and stuff like that, supposedly, then why should I can't think of an example. I'll let you know when I get back to it. But anyway, yeah. But that's why. It's because a person is inviting a person. The person inviting a person typically serves, hosts, or whatever in some type of way. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter if it's mostly men who do this, the initiating. It doesn't matter. It's the dynamics of the interaction that count, not the gender of the people in the interaction. If I invited a man out and said, I'm going to take him out, I'm going to take him out, I'm going to go and pick him up, and I'm going to pay for him. I have paid for a dude before and taken him out. So please, whatever. But, I'm sorry. But yeah, you know, and the way I see it is basically, like Mr. Carter said, the men want to get laid for as little money as possible and basically as least effort as possible. They want to get something without having to give anything. Point blank, period. And I think it's kind of selfish. And they'll say, women like sex too. Yes, they do. But she may not value it as much as you do. Not everybody values things the same way. For men, sex is typically, it seems, at the top of the list. It is the end-all, be-all. For women, it typically is not. The woman you are taking out may value being wined and dined more than she values having sex. Doesn't mean she doesn't want to have sex with you, but she wants to be wined and dined more than she wants that. And she figures, why can't she get some of what she really wants? You get some that you really want. It's the equal trade. But this isn't a relationship. This is a simple interaction between a man and a woman. Nobody's looking for a relationship here. Why not? That's my personal opinion on that. I've also noticed that, you know, people say I don't know, that it's common courtesy for a woman. I remember seeing a man, you know, one topic saying it should be common courtesy for a woman to have sex with a man after he's taken her out for dinner. I thought that was kind of crazy. Nobody's body is common courtesy. Women don't owe you sex, no matter what you do. She doesn't owe you sex. That's her body. And it seems like the men in this group value money more than they value a human body. And they can't understand why a person would care about her body so much that she doesn't want to let anybody in it. You know, just any old body in it. It's a little weird, but, you know, I rationalize this. They value money more than they value a woman's vagina. A woman's vagina to them is just a way to get off. A woman's vagina to her is a part of her body. It is something that she was born with and that she lives with every day, and that affects her. Of course she values it to a certain extent, and out here. So no, my body's not common courtesy. I will always have a right to my body. You paying for my dinner at Red Lobster does not mean you suddenly have rights to my body. It's crazy. But also, they're, you know, they'll say, why are you holding the vagina hostage? Of course, I'm using a nice word, but they'll say, why are you holding the vagina hostage? And no, I'm not going to go with a strict definition here, but I'm going to say this. In order for something to be held hostage from somebody, I believe that the thing that's being held hostage has to be of some type of ownership to the person being held hostage from. A woman's vagina does not belong to a man. It belongs to her. She isn't holding her vagina hostage. She can't hold it hostage from you. You don't own it. It's not yours. You have no rights to it. So, in my opinion, something cannot be held hostage from you unless in some way, form, or fashion belongs to you, or that you deserve it, or that you've earned it. You don't deserve it. I mean, unless she decides you deserve it because it's hers. Obviously, you didn't earn it, or she would have gave it to you. And it doesn't belong to you. It's not a part of your body. It's part of her body. And no matter what you do, she'll never owe it to you. That doesn't make sense. It's like they feel as though they're entitled to free sex, and that her vagina is not hers, but it's theirs to use. And I'm not even going to say that that's a bad way of thinking. It's whatever, how you see it. And if I'm saying it wrong, I'm saying it wrong. But that's what I get as a woman when I read those things. And it kind of bothers me, because how do you feel that anybody's body, that you have a right to anybody's body, or that you deserve anybody's body because you bought a meal at Red Lobster? You know what? I'm going to buy you a meal at Red Lobster, so I deserve your arm because I bought your meal at Red Lobster. And it makes me feel good to take your arm. What? So, yeah. And I mean, a lot of things. So, with the things come to sex, it's hard for me to understand how men cannot see why a woman would value her vagina. Because, in a sense, biologically, our vagina is part of what makes us a woman. Our vagina affects us in our day-to-day life, periods and all kinds of stuff. Our vagina is a part of our body. And our bodies are important because they affect they affect how we live and all kinds of things. So why wouldn't a part of my body be important to me or valuable to me? And why is it wrong if a woman doesn't want to just let any old body in it, and if she wants to get to know a person before she lets anybody in it? And men that group don't really like women who don't give sex ASAP. And, even after hearing, they'll say you're not going to get a man that way, and you're going to be single and all types of things like that. Okay, but here's why. You know what? Since nobody likes to hear about religion, even though that does play a part of my reasons, we're going to get rid of that for now. Let me tell you about my personal reasons. Yes, I have religious and personal reasons. Personally, if I don't know you, I'm not comfortable around you. I like to be comfortable around people. If I'm going to show somebody my body and have sex with them, I would like to be comfortable around them. I'd also like to trust them. I cannot trust a man I've only known for 3 weeks. I don't know what kind of person you are. You could have been put on an act. I don't know what you do behind my back. I can't trust you to not do things that would hurt me behind my back. And I'm not just talking about emotionally. I'm talking about physically. And I like to get to know people. I just want to know who I'm letting inside of my body, okay? And I want to know them on a real level. I want to be able to trust them, And I cannot do that with somebody I met in a day or even after knowing for 3 weeks. That is not enough. And then, to me, sex is a benefit that I will give to a man I'm in a committed relationship with. Because to me, I don't know. I don't like the whole no strings attached thing. I don't. And so, if we're in a committed relationship, engaged, married, fine. I have no problem. But if I don't know you, you're not committed to me, and you don't want to commit to me, no, you're not getting sex from me. Especially if you having sex with me is not going to give me anything that I really value. Yes, feels good. It's cool. Wow. I don't value it as much as you value it. I value a relationship with a person more. I value spending time with people more. I don't value sex as much as you do. Doesn't mean I don't like it, but I don't value it as much as you do. And so you'll get what you want from me if I have sex with you first. And then I might get something from you if you feel that I'm worthy. You might consider getting to know me. You might consider, being, going on a date with me. Or you could just keep coming back and getting sex from me. But I never really get what I value. And to me, that's just wasting my time. And, me, letting somebody get what they want, I'm not getting anything that I really value at the end of the day. And I don't think that's fair. That's why I really don't think that's good advice to tell to women who are looking for a relationship. For a woman who is, who sex is her main focus, that's a great thing for her to do. Have sex with the man that you're feeling. And if, if he feel, if he considers you, and decides he wants to spend time with you on a more, emotional basis, that's cool. And, she don't care because relationship's not her main thing. But for a woman who cares about relationship, that's going to screw her over. I guarantee you, baby. The majority of those men are going to hit it and quit it. Believe that. Men say you have no idea how it is to be a man dating a woman. You have no idea how it feels to be a woman dating a man. But, yeah. And one last, so yeah, sex was a big thing. It's just, because sex, it's been made so important, in terms of relationships. That's why I've just talked about it so much. But, okay. Also, one thing about relationships is that women want men to understand them. And men want to be understood by women. And that is completely, that's great. But here's the thing. I don't think a lot of people know what understanding is, really. Understanding is not being able to list off, not being able to list off actions. It's also knowing the why behind that action and, the causes of that action and being able to empathize with that person. That's what true understanding is. Being able to say women nag and women get fat is not understanding women. Understanding why a woman is nagging you and then being able to, step into her shoes and maybe see, how it is understanding her. Same thing as a man to say, oh, men all cheat and they lie, is not understanding men. Being able to step into his shoes and see how hard it is to deal with a woman who cannot trust him and seeing it from his viewpoint is understanding him. And I think people really need to know what understanding means. But people also take the time to understand people. And the thing is, it's completely selfish to expect one group of people to accept every little thing you do and for you to accept none of what they do and not even try to understand it. It has to go both ways for a relationship to work. If you want a healthy relationship, now if you want one where, you get you take, and they give, and then the person is basically unhappy while you are, then fine, you do that. But if you actually want a relationship where your woman or your man is happy, you have to meet them halfway. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. But I'm going to stop right now because I'm about to hit 24 minutes. So, bye. And comment, ask me questions, correct me, whatever. Bye.